In the early 20th century, Africa was a continent under foreign rule. European powers had divided Africa among themselves, carving borders, claiming land and controlling people. For decades, Africans lived under colonial administrations that limited their rights, controlled their wealth and suppressed their identities. But by the 1960s, something powerful was rising across the continent. A wave of freedom. This was not just one revolution. It was many, a movement that spread like wildfire. From West Africa to East Africa, and from the savannas of Central Africa to the deserts of the North. The first sparks began earlier, through 1940s and 1950s. As Africans who served in World War II returned with new awareness. They had seen the world. They had fought for freedom abroad. And now they wanted that freedom at home. Nationalists, students, workers, religious groups and young leaders began organizing. They started newspapers, formed unions, held strikes, and created political parties that demanded independence. This period produced strong voices. Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana, Jomo Kenyatta in Kenya, Patrice Lumumba in Congo, Julius Nyerere in Tanzania, Ahmed Ben Bella in Algeria, and many others who would become the faces of liberation. Ghana led the breakthrough. In 1957, it became the first sub-Saharan African country to gain independence. When Kwame Nkrumah stood before thousands in Accra and declared, "The independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it is linked with the total liberation of Africa." Those words traveled far beyond Ghana. They became a call, a challenge, a promise. Soon, one after another, nations rose. 1958, Guinea said no to French control. 1960, the Year of Africa. While 17 countries gained independence in just 1 year, the map of Africa was changing. Flags were changing. Power was shifting. But freedom did not come easily everywhere. Some nations had to fight long, violent struggles. Algeria's War of Independence against France lasted 8 years and cost over 1 million lives. In Kenya, the Mau Mau uprising challenged British rule and faced brutal crackdowns. South Africans launched protests, strikes, and resistance against the apartheid regime, a struggle that would continue for decades. Every victory was paid for through sacrifice, through imprisonment, exile, and bloodshed. But the spirit of freedom did not die. By the late 1960s, a new Africa was emerging. With new flags, new governments, new identities, and new responsibilities, Pan-Africanism grew stronger. Leaders envisioned unity, a continent working together. In 1963, the Organization of African Unity was formed, a symbol that Africans were ready to stand as one. But the journey after independence was not simple. Newly freed nations faced challenges, political instability, foreign interference, economic struggles, and internal divisions. The dream of freedom was real, but the work of building stable nations had only just begun. Yet, through all of it, the 1960s remain one of the most powerful decades in African history. A decade where millions of people reclaimed their voices, their land, their dignity, and their future. It was the decade when Africa rose, not as colonies, but as nations. The wave of freedom was unstoppable, and it changed the world forever. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and share. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more untold African history story.